Right, y'all, let's jump back into episode 2. And before we even talk about episode 1, let's just keep going. CJ, I know you're gonna talk about how we transition and rebuild this thing. So let's talk about some of these things.
All right, Jay, thanks for passing that over to me. So we're going to start out in terms of like the fix. Like, what do you start to fix first once you turn 40 and kind of keep moving from there? So I'm gonna split this up into 3 different moves, we're going to call them. So move number 1, kill the high interest debt now. All right, credit card debt is a negative investment. Paying off a 24% APR card is the equivalent of earning a 24% guaranteed return when you think about what's leaving your pockets to pay for that.
Yeah.
And practically nothing else that you can invest in is going to beat that 24% return. So again, it's thinking about it in a different way. So let's try to make this real. Say you're carrying a $5,000 balance on a credit card that charges, again, somewhere in the neighborhood of 24% interest. If you're making only the minimum payments on that every month, that debt can stay with you for years. And by the time you're actually done paying off the whole thing, you could be paying back thousands of dollars, maybe even doubling the $5,000 that you put into that. All right. So think about that. You bought $5,000 worth of stuff, but you could end up paying close to twice that by the time this whole thing is over. That's money that could have been building your future instead of building profits for the credit card companies and the people who are getting all of our money in that way. So keep in mind that paying off high interest debt isn't just about reducing what you owe. It's essentially one of the best guaranteed returns that you'll ever earn. All right. That's move number 1. Move number 2, build your emergency fund before you invest. I know that's something that we have all heard for a long time. Like, as we talk about these conversations people did not have with us, I've been hearing about that emergency fund forever. And it's still one of those things that's hard for me to kind of commit to. I would say though, like, start with a minimum $1,000, like build that up so that you have it just in case you need it. And then you work on building up to that 3 to 6 months of expenses, if that's even going to happen, but at least getting yourself to 1,000, we think is going to make you solid. Black men over 40 without an emergency fund are 1 car repair away from debt spirals. Okay, so think about that.
Before you go anywhere else, Chris, with this one, because I feel like I need to jump in here real quick with this one, but it can work if you work it. I know some of us don't like to feel quote unquote broke, but one of the things that I don't do is touch my emergency fund. I honestly can be broke, but I won't go into that fund because I have levels of what I feel is an emergency, right? And just because I don't have money right now don't mean that it's an emergency. So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say, keep going. This is real good.
No, I like that.
Keep going.
That's valuable. Well, that gets to the idea like paying yourself first. Like, that's real good.
Yeah.
But going on to move number 3 real quick, start investing. Even if you think the amount that you're investing in that is initially embarrassing. Like I said, for me, it started out $20 a month. Here's a mistake that I think too many of us make. We think that investing starts when we finally have money. But no, investing actually is the different thing. It starts when we start building the habit of doing that. And the amount that we wind up having actually comes later, right? Like, again, I started with $20. You can start with $10, $20, $50, $100 a month if you can afford to do that. At the end of the day, habits are what wind up building wealth, where waiting does not do that. Habits build your wealth, waiting does not. And that's why I think I'm constantly talking. You sure you really can. And that's why I think I'm constantly talking to my 2 daughters about money. Like, it's credit, it's debt, it's savings, it's investing, it's retirement, it's paying yourself first. They probably get tired of hearing me talk about that kind of stuff all the time. And that's okay, because every conversation that I wish someone had with me, those are the ones that I think I'm having with them right now. Like, I'd rather that they get sick and tired of hearing from me now than spend 20 years wishing somebody had taught them that at some other point in their lives. So it's also not lost on me, though, that it's hard when you're young. I remember having been here and getting that same advice. Like, every dollar that you have already has a job. It's your rent, it's your food, it's your gas. Depending on what you had, you might have some student loans. It's just life in general. And I understand that. But creating that habit is just as important as creating the balance. Because when you think about it, when you learn how to pay yourself first, even if it's only a little, you're building something bigger than an investment account. Like, in that sense, you're almost like building a financial identity. And those are the kind of things that we think are important when you start breaking those curses.
I really love that you just gave us those moves. I think that was awesome, and for many reasons. But I want to get a little bit into that, to the structure too, right? There's structural barriers here. And some of the ones I want to talk about have to do with us as Black men, having access to our employee-sponsored retirement plans and things of that nature, because we really don't look at our benefits a lot. They're given to us sometimes, and we don't even look at them. We think, well, this might be a shit job, right? Like, just let's put it real plain. It might be a shit job, and why am I even looking at these benefits? But to your point, Chris, which is a really good point, starting somewhere will lead you to something. I'll give you an example. I worked as a special police officer for the United States Department of Energy when I moved to the D.C. area. That was my first job. And, well, not my first job, but one of my first government jobs. So what I did there is, for the first time, read about all of the benefits because I wanted to know what it really meant. Like, they opened up a Roth IRA for me. I didn't even know what that was, right?
Sure.
So understanding that I had money sitting there and didn't even know about it, and it was not doing anything, which that was a problem too, and I didn't know about it. All of these things, these structural kind of barriers that we have because, one, either we put them in front of ourselves, or even when we're being taught, we don't understand, and we don't go back and ask those questions so that we understand a little bit more. What is this benefit? What does this do? Well, I'll take you through the story just a little bit quickly here. I ended up understanding that I had a certain amount of money that was going to be given to me in a retirement plan. And I was like, okay, I need to understand about the company that's going to be holding my finances. So I started looking into that. What I'm really trying to say here is that by the time I got out of my stint with the government, I understood how much money I had already had, where I was now looking to invest it, and what the government was doing for me as far as being able to give me an opportunity to have money for the future. And I wouldn't really have done any of that if I didn't sit down and actually read about what this stuff was and be curious. Right now, what I'm really trying to say to everyone here is that you don't even have to do that. You can have something else read for you. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't read, but what I'm saying is there's so many tools right now in front of our face to teach us things, not just the AI, but like I said, Earn Your Leisure and other people that are on these social media networks that look just like you and me and are really, really trying to help us to get to that point. I went to InvestFest, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And each time I got better and better at investing and doing what I needed to do for my life. And if I can share really quickly here, my partner did the same thing. She went to InvestFest. She went the first year and she had an idea. By the second year, she was into her idea in doing it. By the third year, she was at InvestFest selling out her idea. So I really want us to understand. And this was at 38. 40, right? 41, she did this, right? So it's like, it's never too late for you to invest in yourself. Take a moment, destroy those structural barriers. Understand that men who can't just open a Roth IRA because their income in cash is kind of low doesn't mean that you can't start something that is sustainable, like Chris said, from a very small amount and get to a point where you understand that this is the way that you are going to live with the money that you continue to create and invest in.
That's so good.
Yeah,
I think
for
there's, as CJ was dropping all those gems about the 3 key areas, each one of those we could do a podcast episode on in terms of
Absolutely.
frameworks, methodology, like, how you can attack it, the snowball, all these different things we could do. I think about all those things, man, and I get pumped up about it, I get excited about it. And then I also think about how the mindset shift is as well. So, Quest, you were talking about what we consume in terms of how we educate ourselves. We got social media outlets, we got all this stuff coming at us. Like, we want you all follow Earn Your Leisure, follow the Trapper Dude. Like, just get some of that coming into your feed, into your system, into your social media diet, so that you can start it might just be something little that you hear to be like, okay, well, let me look at this. And that's a little bit different. And then you can go back and look at, Nicki Minaj and all that other stuff. All we saying is like, if you start consuming these things, that's how you start changing your mindset. I think about every morning when I do my meditation and my spiritual time, I'm putting stuff into my spirit, into my mind. You know, hey, I'm a lion, I'm a beast, I'm a 50 million. All these things I'm speaking and putting into my mind so I can start having a different orientation with money. And so I just wanted to talk about that, and also just talk about all this stuff is in front of us. You can read till your eyes bleed, but if you don't start doing anything with all this stuff that's in front of you, nothing will change. So we want to make sure, you know, Quest, CJ, they've been talking about, these are the things you can start. Just start. Just start with something. Like, if there's anything that we can press on you, generational curses aren't broken if you just don't start something. Like, I think about what CJ, when he was talking about Chuck, like, think about how people were pouring into Chuck to get him to where he is today, because he decided to make a choice to do something. And so, you know, I think we've all had our stories of, we get to college, we get there the first couple of days, and then they're talking about, you want a credit card, and all of a sudden, here we are at 18 and we done maxed out a credit. We done all done that. We done all made stupid choices in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s, and hell, still doing them in our 50s, but that don't mean you can't change. That's true. When you start to hold yourself accountable. So I think there's a level of accountability that we're asking of you. If you have to get an accountability partner, if it's your partner, if it's your person that you share life with, hold each other accountable. I was watching this Instagram yesterday, and it was this married woman, and she was talking about how she's in competition with her husband, but it was healthy competition. Like, as he's pushing me, I'm pushing him. Like, okay, we working out together. He's investing. I'm thinking about different things to invest in too. Like, having somebody there that can help you on your journey so you're not feeling like you're all alone is a very, very healthy way to start this process and your orientation with money. So those are some thoughts that I just wanted to share with you all outside of, you know, the things that have already been mentioned.
You know, I believe, just like you said there, Jay, like having somebody there, whether it be your significant other or your family or someone that you just, you know, believe in, is really a good way to get going as well, because sometimes you need that motivation, right? And what is the hardest thing to do? Talk about finances. When we try to get in relationships, it's one of the hardest conversations to have. I know that when, you know, of late, me being with my partners, I started a very vulnerable conversation with them about money. And I started that conversation by allowing them to understand that I wanted to have a conversation with them so that they understood not only where I was, but me to understand where they were and where we were going to go. Because it wasn't a conversation for me just so that I know what I came in here with and what I need to leave with. That's not my mentality. My mentality is that we can both grow collectively and individually, but moreover, we can sit here and build on something that probably we didn't even have in the beginning or in our lives. So so just like you're saying, Jay, it could be that healthy competition that you need. You know what I'm saying? To kind of get you going to understanding, yo, look at what we're building. Look at how we're doing it. You know what I'm saying? The end goal for me is the lifestyle that I want to have. And that may not even include money, right? That may not include money at all. I may need this money so I can sustain this health and be able to have the mobility, be able to have the stress-free life that I want to live. I want to be able to have money so I can in some ways help myself to get to that point. And, you know, so I think it's important that if somebody else shares those values, or if others shares those same values, and y'all can connect together, that's a perfect opportunity for you to get there.
Perfect. And there's actually, and listen to that too. It made me think about another thing that we hadn't discussed yet, but we're starting to kind of get there. Like, a lot of what we're talking about right now with money is stuff dealing with family. Now you're talking about that healthy competition you can have with a spouse or with a partner. That's somebody who might be a part of your family, but that's somebody that you bring into your family that way and make it official. Maybe you're not, and you're just in a relationship. When I think about it that way, I also think about just friends in general. Like, we all got boys, we all got dudes that we're connected to in different ways. And Jay and I, we're both a part of this small financial club. We've known each other since the early to mid 90s. And it took 20, 25 years before we finally came together on that idea that we've been talking about. And so what is it, like 5 years now that I think we've been doing this, and we invest,
That's
you know,
right.
100, 125, 150 a month, whatever it's become. And we're watching that thing grow. Not only are we doing that for the investment piece, we're doing it for the brotherhood. Like, it's a really good way for us to keep our friendship kind of moving and doing it in a way where there's something industrious behind it. It's not just like hanging out and having fun with each other. Like, we're actually building something together. So like we're able to kind of live out a more evolved version of ourselves in service of this money and in service of this brotherhood that we got.
Yes.
It's never too late. It's never too. I'm watching the way that this thing is growing. Yeah, again, we should have done it 30 years ago. We didn't. There's nothing we can do about that right now, but at least we started, and to see where it's moved just in these handful of years, like I can see what this is going to build for our legacies moving forward.
That's so good.
You know,
that's so good.
Them 3 moves, man, them 3 moves: kill the debt, build the safety net, start investing, even if it's small. But here's the thing that none of us are saying out loud. None of this works if you're still trying to be the bank of everybody you love. That black tax isn't just a number. It's not just a number. It's a choice. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, am I helping or am I disappearing? Am I hindering myself? What am I doing here? Why do I continue to do this thing? We've given you some very significant moves that you should at least try. Take a moment and try those things. Try them.
Yeah.
Damn. You just said, am I disappearing? Damn.
Man, come on.
Yeah. And I think I can't help but I cannot help but think about black tax. And for me, the definition is much broader than what we've just talked about on a familial level. I feel black tax is also how black culture impacts, influences black communities to believe that this is the lifestyle that you should work your butt off to afford. And that is creating generational curses for us. It's creating financial gaps, because really what is being portrayed to us and conveyed to us is not real. I feel like that's another layer of black tax that doesn't have to necessarily be there for us. Like, every time we talk about this all the time, it's not hard to find, you know, how we interact with our women. You got to have bread to get a good girl and get the, you know, all this crap. And so that's what I started to think about too, is how do we break some of these black taxes that are impacting our communities outside of just our family? You know, start having those conversations that you ain't got to just go to the barbershop to have the conversation. How do you just start having the conversation?
I hear you, because, you know, to what you're saying here, we can talk about everything else, but why are we not talking about this?
Why is that? Why is that? We could talk, you know, you talked about, CJ, you was like, it took us how long to create our financial group? You know, we've known each other for 25, 30 years, but we've just done this over the last 5. Don't get me wrong. Wish we would have done it a lot sooner. I don't know if we were mentally prepared to do what we did at that time much sooner, but it's like, how could we start having these conversations in black communities? Because trust, other communities are having them. When you go and you start talking to other cultures, they're having these conversations at the dinner table.
It's trust, bro. It's trust. And you know it, Jay. It took y'all that long because I'm going to say it. There probably have been situations where y'all have talked about different things and it's caused you in some ways not to trust, right? Whatever that thing was, whatever those things were, y'all were going through certain situations and y'all were listening to each other. And you probably said to yourself, I don't know if I can trust this guy with this money thing that I want to talk about right now, because I'm listening to what he's saying right now.
You watching the way he's living.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get some of the anxiety towards having a collection of people that are now going to be part of your life in a very intimate way that no one else but you are. right?
Yeah.
So to
That's so
that, so
good.
to that point, I feel like a lot of it could be the trust. It could be just understanding that this is, at least I know for sure for Black men, you know, a lot of us, this is one of our most vulnerable areas.
Most vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Vulnerable.
Bruh,
Absolutely.
you said it, and thank you for saying that. And I couldn't help but think about, we talking about our boys. I'm talking about my relationship with my girl. Like, it's
Yes.
taken me 5 years to
Mm.
get comfortable to have the financial conversations we can have today.
Yeah.
5 years.
And
Yeah.
that's somebody you with every day.
And this is somebody
You know?
I'm with every day. And I'm so thankful that I am where she has been already. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm finally there now. But a lot of it was me. And based off of my trust
Sure.
issues and based off of the things that I've been through and, you know, fumbling money and not, you know what I'm saying? So all those things come into play. And so I think we got to also talk about that as Black tax. Like, like, you know what I mean? How do you even account for that? And then I think Black males don't even like to talk about that. You know, well, I'm supposed to be the breadwinner and I'm supposed to be the one. Well, what if you ain't? What if you not? How are you going to be able to have that conversation? And are you going to let that impact how you grow financially with your partner, man? Come on, man. You know, there's a lot there.
Yeah. That cultural piece that you're talking about is, that's heavy. And you're right. Like, that's not something that we came to the episode thinking we were going to address, but it's a real thing. Like, that's part of the elephant that's in the room, right? Like, we think about what we praise as a culture, and we know that there are parts of it that aren't necessarily healthy for our financial health, aren't healthy for our financial health moving forward. And as you were talking about that too, what it reminded me of, and it wasn't in relation to the Black community, it was actually in relation to American society. And it was this quote that I remember hearing. It was something like, it's no measure of success to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So it was essentially saying, yeah, there's an American way that you could buy into, but when you look at it and you know there's part of it that just ain't really that cool, you can sell into it and be a part of that and enjoy all of that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right way to be, right? And are you strong enough as an individual to know where that line is? What you're talking about in a microcosmic way, like for us as a Black culture, what parts of our culture do we need to get rid of? Or if not get rid of, at least stop praising and lionizing it in a way, because it's sucking the resources that we have into something that's empty.
Yeah.
You know,
so
CJ,
good,
you hitting on that, but what I want you to do is, I know that you have a lot of, because you're going towards it, so I want you to keep going towards it. These resources, we want people to kind of like understand what they really can do from this point forward. And we had a small discussion offline about this, so I really would like for you to give people that information that we discussed.
No, and I appreciate you bringing that up. So for all of y'all that are out there listening, you could be thinking as you're listening to this tonight, like, man, this all sounds good, but I don't even know where to start. We would say to that, just please don't let that stop you, right? Like, put one foot in front of the other and just kind of see where it leads. So there are tons of incredible resources that are out there that break this stuff down in plain English. Some of them have already been mentioned, so this is going to be slightly repetitive. If you like books, for instance, there's a book called Get Good with Money. It's by a woman named Tiffany, the Budgetnista. Alice. Or there's another one, The Wealth Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. If you like podcasts, you like YouTube, like obviously you're here looking at us, we highly recommend, it's been mentioned already, Earn Your Leisure. Like, you do a fantastic job of making investing and entrepreneurship and wealth building feel very accessible. Another one, and I know we're relying on him for B-roll today, but Anthony O'Neill has excellent content on budgeting, on debt, on investing, especially for younger adults, which we obviously think is good for building that next generation. And if you simply want someone who explains financial concepts clearly, there's one, it's the Money Guy Show. And Humphrey Yang. Those are a couple that are really good that are out there too. So again, simply at the end of the day, you don't have to become a financial expert overnight. You just got to become curious enough to learn something about it. And again, put one foot in front of the other.
Here's what nobody really tells you about being broke, if I'm going to be honest with you. See, it's not just about having the lack of money. It's about having the lack of options. When you're broke, You can't say yes to certain opportunities. You can't pivot. You can't invest into yourself the way you want to. You are honestly stuck. Every single day, the only thing you can do is think about, how am I going to survive? How am I going to eat? How am I going to stay safe? Not how am I going to thrive? Not how am I going to position? I was trading every hour of my time for just enough money to get through the day, not get through the week, not get through the month, just to survive today. Then I started learning. Then I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I started to understand how money actually moves and how money actually works. And slowly, while painfully, I started getting on the right side of things. Today, I am a net worth millionaire. I own my time. I've built a multiple 7-figure business. I have freedom. I'm completing my doctorate degree. I'm building a financial literacy school in Ghana. I'm helping other people become, 100,000aires to net worth millionaires. We have a massive community of millions plus, not because I'm the smartest person in the room, but because I learned to see the shift before it happened and I positioned myself accordingly.
That's so good. It's a new script. What does a black man at 40 need to believe about money to actually build something, right? Not just to get rich, not to hustle harder, but I am worth planning for. My future matters. And I think my future matters. So the silence has to end here. It has to end here right now. And I think with all the resources that Chris just gave, all of the, Jay, thank you for the Black Tax Talk tonight. Cause I feel like, really diving into that, a lot of people are going to resonate with that, and they are going to be able to see exactly what they're in and now how they can foundationally grow from that and get out of it.
That's good, bro. That's good. This is, again, another conversation that will actually have another conversation, because I believe several. And I'm saying that because we are still growing as 40, 50. We are growing mentally, spiritually, financially, in all the ways. And we're going to continue to share with you as we grow. We are not built to stay broke, y'all.
Come on.
Let's get rid of that. We are not built to stay broke. We are not built to stay silent. You know what I'm saying?
on.
I think there's another piece that we haven't really talked about. I cannot help. I gotta end it like this, but we have to spiritually steward our money, right? There's a spiritual connection that comes with money that you have to make sure you are tapped into. I can't stress this enough, y'all. So all these things we talked about are amazing and dope, but that spiritual connection and how you steward your money is very important. Start now, wherever you are, 40, 50, 49, 51, 52, 50, whatever the case may be. It is never too late to start your journey. Subscribe, y'all. It's just going to keep getting better. We're going to keep getting deeper and going deeper, having these vulnerable conversations that you may not want to have alone. Come here, you can have them with us, and hopefully you can have them with somebody else after you share with us here. Let's keep going and growing, y'all. Let's do this. We love y'all. 40, 50 over and out. Peace.